Okay, guys. How's it going? My name is Sal Cosentino. I'm your uh, cloud architect, trainer, and mentor. Uh, in this video, I'll be talking about managing deployments using Kubernetes engine. Um, this is a self-paced. Um, I'm using Cloud Shell Terminal. Um, a lot of DevOps practices will regularly make use of multiple deployments to manage like a blue-green deployment or a canary deployment. But this lab is to teach you how to scale and manage containers within your control plane so you can accomplish different or common scenarios where there's different types of deployments that are being used, right? This is still a cloud architect um, kind of part of their content because you need to know how to manage Kubernetes in the cloud, right? And they're obviously going to be working with architects, I mean, sorry, and engineers, DevOps guys, so whoever's in charge of this kind of stuff and has access to the project and the specific types of roles, right? So we've basically have a user student who is or a user in a position where he works, who's part of a project ID with GCP, and this student or this person is able to um, manage deployments using those Kubernetes engines, right? Just remember, this is not, I'm both a cloud architect teaching you engineering. There is a business value to this, especially if you're going to, manage your Kubernetes machines. As you can see here, I've uh, I've started this um, account right with a student account, and I've set that active account. Then within that account, I was listing the projects. Make sure that I list the projects active in this instance, and configure an active configuration, right? So I'm able to kind of copy, config the settings, the compute zone to my availability zone, which is in US East, and then update the property with that compute zone. And then I'm also able to check the storage within the Kubernetes and run any shells or cleanups and copy different files, PEM files, key files, certs, CAK, anything that has to do within the Kubernetes cluster. And I would copy that and copy those files successfully with an average throughput. So that's pretty good. Go Cloud Container Clusters created this specific E2 small machine type, E2 instance. You can take a look at that with 3 nodes, and then you can basically look at the scopes for the specific storage read write and so forth, right? So our pod address is in range, IPv4 CIDR. This can accommodate at least 110.08 nodes. And then we can create a cluster bootcamp. Our cluster is being health checked, which is good, and our control plane is healthy, right? So we're ready to go. And as we're ready to move down the list, this will then inspect the cluster. So we can go ahead and inspect the cluster if we'd like. Uh, Entry, which is generated through this link. All right. Well, it's not showing me, but anyway, you get the point. Guess there's no. This will go into the Kubernetes engine, and this will tell us whether or not there's um, I'd have to troubleshoot this error, but anyway, you guys kind of get the gist of it. This is just a quick lab. I'm not going to troubleshoot errors with you guys, but again, this link will is just a cube entry generated for bootcamp. And again, this kind of gives you the information that you need. And we're using an E2 small instance with this kind of node, IPv4. You have the student name, and then I can now deploy the cube config or the cube control in this deployment and keep going from there. So I'm at the point now where I'm at the point where I'm learning how to deployment. I'm learning about the deployment object. So the explain command and the kubectl can tell us about the deployment object. So you'll see this a lot in here. It's just a copy of it's just for me to kind of show you how this works. We can also see all the fields, and that's basically with this command here. Then we can also see the fields using the recursive option. So I can just put that into the command shell, paste that, and then click enter. And this will go ahead and go up to the top here. It's a long list of fields here. Wow. It's a lot of fields. Get up there. Up to the top. But as you can see, there's a long, healthy list. But and I guess this shows all the strings and values, either a string, an integer, and it gives you all this information. So we can use to explain the command as we go through the lab to kind of help you understand the structure of the deployment object, and that way we can understand what individual fields do. So what I'll do is I'll kubectl explain deploy meta name. So if I go all the way to the bottom, let's see if I can go all the way to the bottom. What's a better here? Session info. I can download that to the folder. There you go. Take that. I'll save that, and then I'll open that later. But let's see if we can open this in a new window. I want to make this a little bit bigger. So internal labs have been recovered from existing session. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm still in the middle of learning about the deployment object. So we're explaining the command as we go through, as I just mentioned. I'm going to paste this command exactly as you see, and I'm going to hit enter. So what's going to happen here is it will give us the group kind and version, and we can add a field with a specific string in mind. But this will kind of help us describe the structure of the deployment object and understand what the individual fields do. So it's nothing too spectacular, too much of interest. But again, as you're doing this, you can read up upon the specific skill. Our second task here is we're creating a deployment. First, we're going to create the Fortune app deployment, and this examines the deployment configuration file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this file here, and this is where we're going to concatenate the cat deployments and future app blue, and this is a YAML file that's available, and this YAML file is basically giving us this code. That's the output that we want. And notice how the deployment is carrying 3 replicas, and it's using a 1.00 version right here, right? Of the Fortune service container. So our second step, we're going to go ahead and create the deployment object using the kubectl create. Again, very straightforward. We're going to paste, hit enter, and that deployment is now created. Once the deployment is created, once we've created the YAML file from that deployment folder, Fortune app blue YAML file. Once we've created that, we can verify that it was created. So what we'll do is we'll create that with the kubectl get deployments, and this will get all the deployments that were created. And as you can see, this is 27 seconds. I just available. There's ready, 3 up to date, and it'll give you the age and name of the file itself, right? So once the deployment is created, Kubernetes will kind of create this replica set for the deployment. So this is where we can verify if the replica set was created for that deployment. And it's a simple command. And we're getting the replica sets. Replica tab, replica sets. And we're going to hit enter. And as you can see, this will give us the name, the desired current, ready, and age here in this field, right? Remember, we're still in the Kubernetes area, so we should see that replica set with the name Fortune Blue or app blue -xxx, right? So we should see that right there, Fortune app blue, and then the code name for that. We're then, once we did see that, we're able to now view the pods. And again, I'm slowly going into this. I'm creating the control plane and I'm managing these deployments with the Kubernetes engine that's available with Google Cloud. And as a Google Cloud architect, one of the main overview topics talks about Kubernetes engines. And, we as architects and engineers have create these specific labs or create labs for stuff for business purposes or for whatever purposes that you need, right? So we're now going to view the pods, and then these were pods are kind of created as part of the deployment, right? And you're going to hit enter, and this is where I got to get the pods here. And here you go. Here are the 3 pods that are running. As you can see, the name is a little bit different. Once we get the pods, we should be able to create a service to expose the Fortune app, right? This one here, deployment externally, right? So let's see. What can we do? We'll create a service Fortune app YAML. So this will open up the file, right? And we'll enter. And once it's created, and then we can kind of interact with the Fortune app by grabbing its external IPs, then curling the version endpoint, right? So, which is kind of cool, right? You can interact with it. Just to let you know, this might take a few seconds before the external IP fields populate for your service. So again, that's just normal. Just run the above command every few seconds until it's populated, okay? Let's see what happens. There we go. So this will give us our external IP, cluster IP, and port age that we need, right? So we got it pretty quick, right? And then once that's done, we just need to we'll curl with the version endpoint, and this will grab the external IP, right? And in order to curl, we use the curl command, and the curl command for that is, oops. Oops. My apologies. We're using the curl with the HTTP site URL, which it includes the external IP that's in there. So we will paste that and see what happens. It's not showing me that, so we will have to change the external IP, which is pending. Right, so the external IP is pending, right? Let's see what happens when we put pending. And there's nothing there, right? But again, this might take a while. So what I'll do is it says that it might till the field is populated. So we'll have to go back one command up, right? And see once we get there we go. There's our external IP. And we'll move up here to our second here, and we'll take that pending command, right? Pretty easy, guys. Pretty straightforward. Again, just know what you're creating, right? And when you're creating it, have this networking all done, and it's gonna have the slash version, right? So we're gonna take out the brackets that were in here. We'll take out the brackets that were in here, right? So Once this happens and we click enter, we should get like a JSON response, and then that JSON response will kind of give us what our version is, what we're looking for, right? And then that's where we can kind of see. You can also use the output template for that kubectl, or let's use the curl as a one-liner, right? And you'll kind of see what happens here. There's the version, that number that we want, and then we'll also use the output templating. And again, this is all pre-defined scripts based on many years of experience. And then hit enter. And again, you'll see the same different version. You'll see the version in the same, right? For that specific thing, right? So at that point we've completed our task. We're gonna now get on to the second part, which is where we're going to scale the deployment. So in this instance, now that we have the deployment created, we can scale it, right? And scaling is important as we're scaling. We update the spec replica field. This is what the instructions state. So we're gonna scale the deployment of this app blue app and its replicas, and we're going to make that a 5. Again, this might take a minute or so for all the pods to be scaled and up and running. So we can also verify that there are 5 pods running, right? We had 3 pods, but we should have 5 pods. Let's check to see if it came up already with this command. And yeah, see, there's the 5 number. We can scale back the application um, at this point, and we could scale it back to 3, where replicas equal 3, and hit enter. Right, and then once that's done, we're going to verify that same concept, the same command up there. We're going to get the pods, we're going to grep and then concatenate and grep the fortune app blue, and then again concatenate with the wc/l, hit enter, and that'll give us a 3. So we know now Kubernetes deployments and how to manage and scale a group of pods for this checkpoint. In this instance, we've created and learned about the deployment object. We've created a deployment, and we're now going to move on to our third task, which is rolling our updates, right? So in this specific lab, we have 5 tasks to do. We've done our second task, and now in this one, we're going to trigger a rolling update, right? So to trigger this rolling update, we can simply apply the configuration of a green deployment, which is smart enough to see the deployments app, so the Fortune app blue, and it'll roll the changes from the new file onto it, right? So what we'll do is we'll edit the deployment for that specific file, app blue, Fortune, and we'll paste this command, and this will edit that file deployment. And as you can see the deployment here, it edits the objects, right? And you'll see the different app version metadata that's been extracted from that. And in this editor, find the image line, right? So we'll look for the image line. If we can find the image line, there we go. So the image line is this line here. And then change the version tag. We'll change it from 1.00, right, to 2 point. And we can edit that by pressing 1 on the keyboard or on the keyboard to enter the insert mode, right? So I'm going to click 1 on my keyboard, right? It doesn't give you the numbers, but yeah, you'll see 1 on the keyboard, right? And on the keyboard, and then press enter. And this will kind of see me. As you can see, I'm in now the file itself. And as I go down in the file itself, I can edit the file by pressing I on the keyboard. Oh, oh, And we're going to first change the image tag. So we're going to find the image tag. And it says US Central 1 Docker package dev. And we're going to change the service number. There's nothing much that we want to change. We just want to change the service number. So we're going to move our mouse all the way down to this here quickly and change the number. Backspace 2. All right, once that's changed, we've changed the value from 1.0.0 to value 2.0. We'll hit enter. Oops. Press that. And then we'll save and close the other. By doing that, we can use the escape, right? And then colon WQ. So escape, colon WQ. Press enter. Oh, escape. WQ. Okay. 2. Let's go back and put that number 2 back. So press I to go back on the keyboard, and then that'll enter insert mode. We've changed that line. We'll find the environment. Sorry, I think I forgot something here. And since we've changed back the name tag to 2, and if we did make a mistake, we just press I on the keyboard to enter the insert mode. So now that we're in the insert mode, you can see here at the bottom, insert dash dash. We next need to update the environment variable. So we'll have to find the env section and the app underscore version variable. So the env, okay, env section and the app version, right? And this variable here has a value of 1.0. We're going to change that value to, so it's just the one up at this point, and we're able to change that number. Perfect. We can change that number. Then we need to save and close the editor. And then by doing so, this is where we're going to get out of the insert. Press escape. We'll see the inserts now gone. And then type colon WQ here at the bottom left corner, right? And then this will trigger the rolling update on the correct deployment. And it'll probably record its probably history, blah, 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 blah. And this will kind of trigger, and this will trigger the rolling update on this correct deployment. And it'll record its history, right, properly. So at that point, once I press enter, it now moves me back into mode. And this is where we can see the new replica set, right, that it creates. So we can get the replicas set now finally. And then hit enter, right? So at this point, this is our new replica set right here. As you can see, the desired current ready age. You can also see a new entry in the rollout history. And by doing so, we can use the kubectl rollout history, right? Command. And from the within the deployment dash for Fortune app blue, paste, and then enter. And this will give us a revision, change, and cause. Once we've triggered the rolling update, we can pause the rolling update and we can run the following to pause it. And I think it uses a rollout pause, if I'm not mistaken. So we have a rollout history, get replica set, and rollout history. And this one, we're going to rollout status, right? And this will kind of roll out the status. We've done the pause. Oh, sorry, pause first and then status. So we're going to pause the rollout right here. So this is paused, as you can see here at the bottom. And then now we're going to verify the current state of the rollout of this file, and we're going to paste, and we're going to hit enter. As you can see, it's successfully rolled out. Perfect. So this status command, again, might immediately report that it's been successfully. It's expected. It's just that pause command itself was successful. Doesn't mean that the version update is complete, right? So because of that, we need to check the version of that pod, right? And see the mix of 1.0 and 2.0 pods, the versions, right? So by confirming the rollout is paused midway. So we have this thing here, and you'll notice that it'll loop. So in order for us to loop, this is where we're going to use our Control C right after to exit the loop, right? So I'm going to paste this line of command here. Okay. I'm not going to explain what this command does, but this is a JSON as a JSON path, and this will get the pods for the Fortune app with the path, with some metadata, do an echo, and curl and concatenate. I'm not here to explain to you Unix and Linux commands, but you guys gotta get that done. And this will kind of echo the subversion number, and it'll give you an exit of a done once that's rolled out, right? So again, it's gonna get us into a loop, right? So we're gonna have to press the Control C to exit that loop, right? As you can see, it's that white box there, but here's the version, right? And to get us out of that loop, see, as we can see, if I add enter, this is where we're going to do Control C, and this will get back to our current state. So at this point, we've done that. We're rolling. We're now on to roll the update or resume a rolling update. So we're going to continue to roll out by using the resume command, which is another cool command. And I'm going to hit enter there and hit enter. So now you'll see that it's resumed. And then once the rollout is complete, you'll see the following when we run the status command, right? So I'm going to copy the rollout status. This is pretty easy, guys. Like any engineer with a cloud background can do this. You just need to understand how this design works, right? Um, right, and then hit enter. Right, so it's been successfully rolled out. So now we're here to roll out a rollback and update. So we assume that the bug was detected in our new version, right, of our rollout. So we'll roll back to a previous version, right? So this is how we roll back to a previous version with this command, enter, and note the rollback may take a few moments to complete. Just verify all the pods have been rolled back um, to their version, right? So we have a command for that, and this will help us curl with the curl command, and you'll see that done, right? So we're now on to task 4. These are called canary updates. Sorry, canary deployments, and this is where we're going to want to test your deployments in a production with a subset of your users using a canary deployment, right? And we need to create the deployment from the new version using the Fortune app canary yaml file, right? So this is where we concatenate, enter, and there's our YAML file. After the canary deployment is created, we should have 2 deployments. We can verify this with the get deployments command as such, right? This kubectl, get deployments, and there you have it, right? There's a ready, up to date. This Fortune app has a selector of an app Fortune, so we should see the app Fortune somewhere. There it is. There it is. I'll highlight that for you in gray right here, right there. Which will match pods in both the Fortune Blue prod and the Fortune App Canary deployments, right? So we have App Blue and App Canary, right? That should have will match pods in both the Fortune Blue prod and the Fortune App Canary deployments, right? So we'll verify this Canary deployment that we just did. We'll verify this version being served by just making a request to the service with a code script, that I found on Google's website. I'm going to copy this again. Why it's doing that. Paste and hit enter. And you'll see that this will run several times, and we should see most of the requests are served and a smaller subset of 2.0s are served. Once that's been served, we can now check for a different thing. Okay, so we're going to go back and see why there's no 2.0. So we're going to paste that and we're going to hit enter. There's my 2.0. Okay. And we're now going to create the Canary deployment here. Let's go enter. Okay, there we go. Paste. Create the deployment. Yeah, we did concatenate the deployment. Now we're going to create the deployment. So this was created now. And then we're going to get deployments, hit enter, and we should see a difference. Yeah, there we go. Now you should have two. So here's my Canary. Here you go. 21, 9 seconds, 9 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this script again. I apologize, guys. I missed out on that. Let me hit enter, and this will do our test, and you'll see the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Once that's done, I can check my progress, and I get the green check mark. If you guys are wondering how I'm doing this, here you go. Cloud Architect course. This will take you about 5 credits to do, so paid credits to do. So as you can see, I'm creating the lab for you guys and working on this lab within my context, right? So we're going to slowly make our way down to the course badge, right? So once we get our course badge, we know we've completed this content, right? There's many contents in the cloud architect. Oops, I'm going to stop that. Well, you guys understand the concept here, but I don't know. Shouldn't have done that. Anyway, okay. I guess we have to redo it. But as you can see, oh, there we go. 5 credits. So make sure you get that started, create your skills, right? Create your dashboard, your paths, right? This is the second or third or fourth time I've been doing this, but again, know what to do here. It's called GSP 053 course, right? So, you know, ensure that you are following the instructions, right? So in here, these are the objectives, right? So as you can see, you're hearing a lot of the Cube tool, the kubectl tool, and create deployment YAML files, right? So we can also launch update scale deployments. This is what we're going to be doing, right? So these are more DevOps practices, right? As our architects, will make use of the multiple deployments to manage applications for deployment services, right? But again, cloud architects, we're going to work together in tandem with this stuff and deploy these practices regularly, right? Make sure that these are done. But this is all based on um, what your current infrastructure looks like, right? And how it's designed. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Doesn't matter, after this lab, this gets brainwashed, and it's gone. This will change, but I've got 9 minutes left. And I'm gonna go down to my task 4, and I'm gonna click progress, and I should get the right check mark. Okay, so this is our last deployment here. Task 5. So within task 5, so just create your accounts first, guys, and then go ahead with that. So this is the blue-green deployment. So this will create 2 separate deployments and switch traffic between them. This is called the service, right? So we'll point it to the only blue version, right? blue version, and oops, and we're going to hit enter. And this is where the YAML file is. Just letting you know, should be applied on resources, declare, excuse me. And we're going to be using the green blue deployment. Now, to create a new green deployment for version 2.0, we're going to use this command. Hit enter, and that's created. Now, once the green deployment is created, we're going to verify the version is still 1.0.0.0. All right, and we'll verify that. There we go, highlighted in gray. And then once that's started, we can run this curl here. Well, we can update the service and then to point to the new green version, right? So as you can see in this code, pretty easy, copy and paste, hit enter, and that's now configured, which is the word that we need to see. And then once the service is updated, the green deployment will be used immediately, so we can verify that the 2.0 is being used with this command, right? Curl command, and then, right? And then that's again from 1.2.0 from 1.0, right? As you can see, this is noted, right? Now we're going to the blue-green rollback. So our green-blue rollback, simplify, reapply the service manifest by the blue deployment, right? So we're just going to copy the code and we're going to quickly make this a little quicker because we don't have that much time, but this lab is pretty straightforward. Paste. Oops. Let me take this rollback. We're just going to reapply the service manifest. Delete. And I'm going to paste. There you go. There's a apply command, and that's configured. And once we've had the service updated, our rollback's been successful, we can verify that the 1.0 is, right? So remember, we're 1.2, we're in 2.0.0, right? 2.0.0. Right, we're going to take this command here, and once that's done, paste, enter, and we're back to the 1.0, which is what we verified that that version is now being used. Once you have that done, we've done it. We've earned the blue-green deployment and how to deploy updates to applications that need to switch versions, right? And we're going to check our progress and make sure you get the green. We've completed. Congratulations. This will help us make most of the Google Cloud technologies. This is, you've had the opportunity to work with kubectl line command tools and just deployment configuration set up in the YAML files to launch, update, and scale your deployments, right? So you can now end the lab. And yes, you want to end the lab. And congratulations on ending the lab. That's it. Once you're done, you can move on to the next one. And the next one is debug apps on Google Kubernetes, right? Just make sure that you're reading the like in our next class, we're going to work on the debug apps on Google Kubernetes engine. So as you can see, the blue mark is set up for this one. I've done this many times, right? So this one here has, and there's our experience points. So that'll add up to our total. And I'm going to end this video for now. I'm going to thank you all for stopping by with In Production by Ink. My name is Sal Cosentino. I'm the CEO of INC2 and cloud architect with a security and cloud background and cybersecurity. You deal with a lot of hyperscalers, and Google is one of the hyperscalers, right? In this specific content here, we're managing Kubernetes in a Google cluster, in a Google cloud, right? So we need to ensure that, we're completing this, right? To demonstrate deployments with the kubectl monitoring, right? And and go through there, right? So you can slowly again continue the course and again move along right? Each content has a different story, right? So just move along and with the self-paced labs. This will show us some microservices demo, which is kind of cool. And in my next video, we're going to do this together, okay? Hang tight. Thank you. And if you're interested, please like and follow. And I will get back to you the next day and we'll complete this lab together, right? If you're interested in joining a lab with me and working with me and getting this completed for yourself, please feel free to message me on WhatsApp and I'll leave the number in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this and I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys some information, right? And I want you guys to WhatsApp me, right? Anytime, right? You're free to join this lab. This is ranked number 2 for the Google Cloud Professional Architect certification, which I've already completed. Um, so again, I've done this before, um, long time ago, and I think Google. Let's see if I can show you uh, cloud architect. Let's see. Okay, argue. Um, yeah. Um, oops, that's just a book here. But if you're interested in getting the Google Cloud, oh, that's just a book that I have here. Hang on. Oops, that's wrong. All right, so here is the book. Okay. So here's the renewal. Oh, for me, it would be if I wanted to redo it, I could. But again, this is a part of the exam guide, right? So these are some cases that you can run on either or. And then within here, you can kind of design and plan your cloud solution architecture and use these business cases and product strategies, right? This is what you would need to learn. And then in this instance, we would use only one case study if you want to use the sample or the auto strat. So we can use media or retail and then allow. And this will pop open a second, hopefully, for me. Okay. Okay, here we go. Open there. So this is where it's going to give us our case study. And this is our case study, right? It's pretty easy, right? This will give us, has significant strides in cloud adoptions and maintains some legacy on-premises systems for specific workflows and content, like content ingestion and archival. These systems are slated for modernization and migration to Google Cloud in the near future. User management and authentication are currently handled through a combination of Google Cloud Identity and third-party providers. For monitoring and observability, AutoStrat relies on a mix of native Google Cloud tools like Google, like cloud monitoring and open source solutions like Prometheus, right? With alerts primarily delivered via email notifications, right? So here's some cool um case studies, right? And these case studies are about what the company is, what the solution concept is, if there's any existing technical environments, and these are basically this is the basic case study you're going to be working on, and this will give you all the information you need. Plus, it'll give you help you with these with the questions, right? With the exam questions or the exam case study questions, right? So this will give you some technical requirements, modernized CI/CD pipeline, right? For containerized deployments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So here's sort of what I'm talking about. Um, Again, these are just renewals. Let's see. What else can we do here? Um, I would like to find, give me 1 second. Apologize. Google Cloud. Let's see if we can find. Okay. Okay. So here's something else that I want to show you guys. This icon. This is the icon for platforms, right? So, and when I make my designs, I use this. These are my diagram elements and callouts, right? Especially when we're doing these specific things. So this is how I would design that, right? And these are the arrows that we're using. If you're making your own, here's the CMYK numbers and the size, right? And the color that you're going to be using. And these gray icons represent either a device or a user. As you can see, specific user, alternate inputs, mobile device, right? And the path connects these elements, right? So again, they give us all the information, right? So this is all proprietary to Google Cloud. Thank you, Google Cloud. You've helped me very well. So here's another zone and nesting specification here, right? So project zone, it'll give us how the coloring, the pixels, if you want to design that, right? We can bring that here and change the names, right? We can do whatever we want, right? Then we also have our explain product cards, how that works. And you will see this inside um, Google Cloud's um, library, right? And knowledge base. So you'll see the different types of tile bars, and this is how you create the stuff, right? So here are the elements, icons. Here are the backgrounds that you're going to be using. So within a region, you have your zone, your firewall, then your instance groups, right? So this is all perfect, right? This is one big happy family. We have our project zone. Within that, we have our logical group. So perfect, perfect, perfect. Um, we also have service cards. You'll see this a lot, and the different types of product cards, right? I'm going to try to send you guys a link for this, and I will let you know how that works. Um, see. I'm trying to, I am trying to find, give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. Um, Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second, okay? My apologies. Oh my God. Okay. I guess, I guess I can't find it, but you know what? That's okay. That's not a problem. I'm okay with that. Okay. Anyway, so like I said, I was gonna show you something else, but I'm gonna give you the link for that PDF file that I just showed you here. This one here, the cloud platform. I'm gonna give you something like that. I'll probably put it in the link somewhere. Um, this will give us, the icons and the platforms. This is all up to date. This will have all this stuff here. Okay, so about 87 slides. So this is how you're supposed to do it, right? Okay, so make sure you do this exactly the same. This is proprietary to them. So if you are using anything and you are designing it using their logos, right? So this all references the Google technologies, the tools, any instances, any architecture diagrams. So as an architect, you want to use that, right? Call me, WhatsApp. Um, again, anytime. If I don't answer again, I'll answer you guys back 24 to 48 hours. Okay. If you're gonna ask me a question, don't call me and say, "Hey," like, no, I'm not gonna answer you. Right? Tell me who you are. What's your name? How you found me? What's your background? Do you want to join one of my videos? Right? Free. One video. You only get one video with me, so choose wisely. This way you can kind of work with me and get it going. I could set you up with that. Um, After that, I charge, right? So um, I don't care, right? So, and I will need to know a little bit about you, that you know, what's your background, right? In IT, uh, are you a smart learner, or are you a smart learner? Are you or a hard worker? You work hard, are you smart, right? Right. So remember, you know, here we keep our eyes on the prize, right? Um, it's a saying that I have, right? And that's just saying, hey, I want you guys to make sure um, you're staying focused on your ultimate goal. Ignore any distractions. How do you ignore distractions and difficulties? Maintain a determined, Maintaining determination again, uh, to succeed, right? That's the whole point. Um, you know, don't turn back, right? Once you start, it's hard to lose focus. It's hard to get off that train, right? So emphasize focusing your goals over like obstacles. Just believe in yourself, right? Um, Believe in yourself, man. Come on. I don't have to tell you, believe in yourself, man. We all believe in ourselves, right? Um, we highlight that success comes from a continuous effort, and with that we have a strong vision, right? It's not just the talent. So we have to ignore distractions. We have to embrace that hard work, stay committed, understand the journey, right? Stay on that journey, And that journey that we stay on requires that dedication and self-belief to reach your ultimate objection, right? So um there's many things that we try to do what's right and eventually you'll reach your goal. We can keep the eye on the prize and do what we love to do, right? That's what we're here to do, right? Success isn't final. Failure is just a fatal, right? It's the courage to continue that counts. Again, don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going. You know, keep your eyes on the prize and don't turn back, right? And I'm gonna make this big for you guys, right? Believe in yourself, right? You guys are all you guys are all architects, right? You guys are all IT administrators. Believe in yourself. If you can do it, go for it, right? Um, Hands on, better it is. Uh, project work, get yourself a partner, study group, do something like this with us, right? Join me. We can have 2 or 3 people, right? Right. So you can start off with that, right? You only get one video for free. So choose wisely. Um, we need to build an audience, right? So I want to thank you guys again. My name is Sal Cosentino. Uh, have yourself a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow for part 2. So keep it and have fun, and we will start our setup and requirement for the debug apps on Kubernetes engine, right? Once we do that, we can move on to the next one until we get our course badge, right? So let's do this together. Let's get to that course badge. Once we've done that course badge, we can go ahead and move on, right? Right. There's a new version of course available. Sure. Sure, let's do that. See that? There you go. So there is a newer version of the course. Your progress will carry over to choose to upgrade. However, your completion percentage may change if the new version has added or moved any learning aid. Sure. See what happens. But good to know. Version of the new course is now available. So let's upgrade. Let's upgrade to the new course. And okay, fair enough. Okay. All right. Ready for a challenge? We have skill badges that we can do too as well. Okay. So no, straightforward, guys. Create your account. Been a member for about 5 years. Um, do that. And then the challenge. Okay, there you go. So remember, stick to one at a time before you move on to the next. Oh, look at that, eh? We could do this. We can do this together. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video recording for now, and I'm gonna